Welcome, everybody, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ATL America's Amateur. This is the playoffs quarterfinals, and it's going to be between PsiX Kohai versus Dark Society Gaming. I'm your caster Snoopy, and I am joined here by my co-caster Salivant.
Hey all, how are you going? It's going to be a pretty good match today. Everyone who's gotten to the finals of this thing is pretty good. It'll be a best of 5 with an MMR lock of 48-50. Off races are allowed. So it'll be a Pro League format with an ace match. 4 players on each side.
Yep.
For our first match, we'll have... Sorry, go on.
Oh no, go ahead.
For our first match, we'll have Landfear versus Misty. Landfear is a long-standing Terran from PsiX, leader of Landfear's Raiders. Very good at helping out the clan. Misty is from Dark Raven. I don't know as much about them since I'm not part of that clan. Let's take a look at their profile. What were you saying, Snoopy?
Oh, I was just going to go over the regular season results or the standings. And basically, PsiX Kohai finished, I think, 4th in the group, with a record of 5 wins and 3 losses, while Dark Society Gaming finished 1st in the other group, in Group A, with a record of 6 wins and 2 losses. So record-wise, pretty close, but in terms of standings, Dark Society Gaming would have the edge.
Yeah, considering PsiX barely did scrape into playoffs, that is to be expected. But still, 5-3 versus 6-2 is not a huge difference, so this is definitely anyone's game. Especially as Misty's ZVT is not the best matchup from them, apparently. Speaking of which, in the top left, spawning as the Red Zerg, representing Dark Society Gaming in the Dark Raven branch, it is Misty.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have the orange Terran player from Psionic Aftermath. It is Landfear.
So Misty's ZVT is actually at 43%, so worst matchup, but not a terrible matchup by any means. It does mean that in 7 games, Misty will win 3 and lose 4, but as I've always said, a best of 7 that goes to game 7 could really have gone either way. This is only a best of 1, so it doesn't mean a great deal. Really, anything can happen in a series like this. Landfear choosing to mix it up already, building a barracks in his own base. Not really up to the new meta, is our Landfear. Clearly hasn't been watching the GSL.
Well, interestingly enough, Maru in the... Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna
yeah, let's not spoil anything from BlizzCon. even from the day before, which we both watched. So we may have some people that are looking to catch up on it a bit later.
Oh my god, Miguel in the chat saying, this is the first time I hear Salivant's voice. What in the world?
I haven't really casted a ton in the last 2 or 3 months, really. I've been busy with uni.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, but you casted also plenty in the past.
Yeah, but Miguel's also European.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
So a lot of the times I cast are not at the best times for him.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. Hi, Miguel.
Yes.
Misty is looking around for those proxies. He knows the meta. I guess it's not really much of a spoiler to say that Maru did at least 1 proxy in BlizzCon. But how well they did, I won't tell you. So both sides going for pretty standard openings. We've got a CC from Landfield, we've got the 2 hatches from Misty. 6 Lings on the way, could be for some light pressure, but probably not considering it wasn't a pull first and speed is a long way away. I think that 6 Lings is just being conservative against that Reaper, but I don't think we even have a Reaper on the way, do we? No, we don't.
Nope.
We just have Marines, which is actually a little unusual.
Yeah,
And
usually.
a reactor on the Marines already. I think this could be an early pressure with Marines.
Yeah, I mean, I expect that the factory might switch over to the reactor, but that's yet to be determined. It could be just a transition to maybe tanks, or just maybe getting a reactor for the starport. But it doesn't even look like a 2-2-2. Whoa! Actually, the command center is moving across the map.
Yeah, the command center lifted off to try and catch the Overlord, but then the Lings showed up.
Ah, I see. Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that's pretty clever.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's worth it just to catch an Overlord.
Yeah, that delays
But I
the
guess-
orbital too.
Yes, it does, but I guess he really wanted that Overlord, and at the very least, it now is not in range. If those Marines do go around, they will catch that Overlord. Yeah, I think Landfear is definitely planning something tricky. He's got a lot of Marines building. He's trying very, very hard to deny scouting. But we have 18 Lings on the way from Misty.
Oh wow.
And they're Speedlings. This could be nasty, but I think... Oh, and the reactor's still building on the factory. This is like 8 Marines, so with some good kiting and pulling the SCVs, this could actually be a pretty good response from Landfield without even knowing what this is. Oh man,
Oh.
it says Misty. Misty has no scouting at all, and this is definitely going to be some sort of... Like, not even a 2-1-1, it's like just a 2-1-1 with only 1 Rax, because it's building so many Marines so fast.
The question is
gonna
it
be a
enough
Marine
to
Widow
hold it
drop.
though?
I think it is. 10 Marines against like 20 Lings. If with good kiting, maybe a few SCV pulls, I think this is definitely going to hold for Landfear without too much trouble.
All right.
He needs to get those SCVs into the fight. And he does. And yeah, he's going to hold this. He's going to lose a couple of workers, but totally destroys this.
Oh yeah.
Good move by Landfear.
Only 2 SCVs, so that's definitely a good trade for Landfair there.
And look at all these Marines and this Widow Mine. With only a single Rax, he's produced enough Marines to practically fill 2 medivacs, and is now transitioning into very late Hellions. Now that I find interesting, and an armory, so I guess this is going to be a Hellbat follow-up. We might even see mech out of Landfear.
Yeah,
Because
that's
this is not like the early Hellions for map control and such. This clearly means he wants to use Hellions, aka Hellbats, later in the game. So I think this has to be either mech or a Hellbat push off 2 bases, following up this Marine Widow Mine attack.
we shall see in just a second, but in the meantime, looks like he's gonna go ahead and try to fly over these 2 medevacs. Might actually catch these overlords here.
Yeah, and actually, it's a 2 base all in. Look at the worker count from Landfear. He's only got 32 workers at this stage of the game. He's been prioritizing his army over his workers, and that definitely means he's going to be looking for a follow-up attack with these Hellbats, I believe. A lot of these Overlords are just getting misrallied across the map, actually, and so Misty is definitely supply blocked here, getting 1-1, but that's not going to be ready in time for this attack. There's a few Banelings and some Lings to defend against this, but we have more and more Marines across the map. We're going to have 4 Hellbats, and this could be a pretty nasty attack. The Widow Mine is done. The Zerglings are going forward, but they're not going to get any damage done at all. And
Yeah.
if these Banelings don't get some really great connections, this could be the end of this game. If those Banelings get hit by that Widow Mine, that is GG.
There's no creep here, so the
Here we
Banelings are
go.
slow here.
And good spreads by Landfield. I think he's got this. He's got a Liberator as well to help defend this push, and there's basically nothing for Misty. This Liberator in a great position, almost impossible to actually defend. Even that Spore Crawler, I don't think is going to be in range. He's charging in. At the very least, these upgrades are going to be forfeit. There's no way they're going to finish. And he's actually in between the rally points. A lot of Banelings making, but will they be enough? The Banelings are going to finish, I think, but some of them will be cancelled. I think that Misty will fend this off, but he's going to lose so much in the meantime. And actually, all of the Banelings are needed to take out the Hellbats, so the Marines are just going to keep on going. The Widow Mine moves forward, it's going to burrow in the middle.
Liberator.
This Liberator just survives. All of the 19 drones down. Misty is in serious trouble. If Misty doesn't hold this off right now, this is the end of the game, and I don't think that Misty will. Good Baneling connection, but I just don't think it's enough. Landfear just pushing through relentlessly with this second Liberator that comes forward. Repaired, rejuvenated. There is nothing that Misty can do. Landfear with a very unusual but well executed attack.
Yeah,
And we're
for
going to be
sure.
going into game number 2.
which will be your game.
Yes, it will.
But you'll be heading in with the knowledge that we will be up 1-0 against
That is a bit of a relief.
DSG. But yeah, well executed there by Landfair.
Definitely. Misty doesn't want to leave the game. Does have 1-1 against, well, actually +1 ranged from +1 vehicles from Landfair, but at the same time, this natural's going to go down. It is the lair. Misty is trying to take new bases, but Misty's economy has definitely been crippled at this point.
Yeah, he's going for one last bailing attack. But even if he cleans this up, I don't see him coming back in this game here.
Exactly. Even if Landfear's entire army across the map disintegrates into nothingness right now, Landfear is still in a great position. And Landfear is going to go for that third base. There is a good Baneling flank that could clean this army up. Oh, but the Baneling flank is not quite there. Actually, but they get the good connections, so that's really all that is needed. This Queen's probably going to go down, but these Banelings will finish off the rest of this army, I think. And it will, yes. But the Liberator does come down. The Queen is not able to defend it. So this base will not be able to mine for quite some time. This Hellbat just will not die against a single Queen. So this Liberator is going to be even more of a pain. 18 drones left for Misty, less and less all the time. Misty's economy is crippled. Misty does have 3 bases, but they're all scattered across the map, and a follow-up push from Landfear could absolutely cripple this. The one thing is that Landfear's macro behind this wasn't immaculate, but he's now getting 3 upgrades at a time. One of these bases can't even mine, and the other is not mining at all. This Queen is going to eventually take out this Liberator if Landfear doesn't do anything, but, I mean, it's just so long.
Yeah.
It's just so little mining for Misty. Misty's got 55 minerals per minute right now as income. Landfear, 2,000. That's a bit of a difference. And I believe that Landfear's not going to mess around. Landfear's just going to do a follow-up push, continue to harass with these Liberators, and just try and attack again with Hellbats and Marines.
Oh, and even as Liberator sieging the 4th base, can't even mine from that.
Yeah, well, it's actually the 3rd base because there's no natural.
Yeah.
Even these lava will pop like balloons. They've got to count as non-combatants, surely. That's got to be against the Geneva Convention. They were just babies. Oh, actually, these Medivacs, if they go down, that could be really bad. But actually, the focus fire not quite up to point 1 does go down, but the second one, the Hellbats get into a good position. Hellbats absolutely roast Lings, and these 2 Queens are so low, they're probably going to go down as well. Misty's down to 20 supply against 90. I think this might be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I think if he still... he will be able to clean this up, but the reinforcement coming across the map, I think that should do it.
Yeah. Landfear's just trickling in the units, but that doesn't even matter because Misty doesn't have the economy to keep producing. Misty's building nothing but drones right now. Look at the production tab. Look at everything that's being made for Landfear, whereas there's nothing being made for Misty. Misty's just got a few Queens and a Dream, but I just don't think it's going to do it. These Marines and Hellbats are going to finish the game off. Stim actually isn't even done.
Oh, wow.
That's how heavily Landfear committed to this game, and Misty leaves the game.
Alrighty. Yeah, so PsiX Kohai goes up 1-0, and good luck in your match.
Thank you. I shall be back in 2 minutes, and then I shall hop into the game, and I shall leave you here until game 3.
Yep. Alright, looks like I'll be solo casting thus far for game 2, unless I think Landfair might join, but not sure. Anyhow, yeah, well executed attack by Landfair there. A little bit unorthodox in terms of build orders, is not something I actually see a lot. I mean, I've seen, like, you know, I thought it was a 2 racks, the 2-1-1 build with a 2 barracks with the, you know, Marine medevac, double medevac drop, but it was kind of just 1 racks with reactor and just, you know, add in a few Hellbats there, and it does comes out to be a strong attack if your opponent doesn't prepare for it. It's one of those things where if you, as a Zerg, if you clean it up, you're like you're a decent ahead, you know, decent way ahead in the game. But if you don't, then you're decently behind in the game. And Lanfear went, the battle went into Lanfear's favor, so well done there. All right, let's see. Our second game will be taking place on Fracture. Alrighty, Fracture, the ice map. And Dark Society's gaming lead has informed us that despite Dave being displayed as a random player on the ATL site, he is actually a Protoss, so this will be a PvP. So as you know, Salavanth has been one of the more apparent participants in our team leagues. Haven't played in much as of late because he was actually in his last semester of university. But since then, he was done with university recently, and so he's been able to play in a lot of tournaments and team leagues nowadays. So always great to have him back. Always great to watch him play. He's a pretty solid Protoss player. Now, Borhu, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Looks like he will be playing for Dark Society Gaming. He is a Diamond 2 player, it seems. Salavanth is currently a Masters 3 player. So not too far in terms of skill level, I think. Although I think the MMR is MMR difference is a bit high, so you would of course favor Salavanth at this point. But I mean, it's just a best of one, so anything can happen. Borhu can definitely pull out a shot, a stunner here, and take game 2 and tie it up. But we will see. All right, countdown has begun, and here we go. We are about to start our second game of this best of 5 series of the ATL playoffs quarterfinals between PsiX Kohai and Dark Society's Gaming. All right, here. Let's actually go ahead and update the score. Currently 1-0. All right. Here, spawning at the top left corner of the map, we have our yellow Protoss player. He is from Dark Society's Gaming. It is Borhu. And spawning at the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss player from Psionic Aftermath. It is Salavanth. All right, and already here we have a fast scout by Borhu, and in PvP, sometimes it's best to actually scout after the pylon, just because you can actually go ahead and scout your opponent to see if he's going for a forge, and that could give you a bit more extra time to prepare and to defend. And sometimes Protoss players are secure in their cannon defense that they don't really scout until later on, until around the time when cybernetic core is done, so that by the time the cybernetic core is done, you can actually scout if the Protoss is making a Stargate or a Robo or Twilight Cancel, and you can also scout to see if he's going for Adepts and Stalkers. One of my tricks that I do is I place a pylon before my probe leaves the opponent base, and you can see what pops out of that gateway and then still have enough time to cancel it. So that's definitely a little trick that Protoss players can do to get some extra scouting information on their opponent. See if they open up 2 Adepts or 2 Stalkers, or maybe a Stalker and Sentry, and that should give you some indication of what your opponent is going for and what his gas investment is is geared towards. But it looks like Salavanth going to open for a 2 Adepts, while Borhu is also going for an opening of 2 Adepts. So we shall see a Adept versus Adept battle. Salavanth vying to go for a Stargate play, which is pretty strong in PvP. It counters, of course, Robo play. I feel like when you go to open for a Stargate opener versus a Robo opener, usually automatically the Stargate player has the edge in terms of build order. However, Salavanth is kind of actually kind of scared there. Salavanth could have actually lost his Adept there, but Borhu was not paying attention. Now it's just a 1v1 Adept battle. Salavanth is going to go ahead and retreat. He already has a probe here, so he can block off, but he needs to make sure he blocks off like right now. And he does, just in time. So well done. Denies the Adept Shade as well as any scout of the Stargate. So Borhu is already in the dark, while Salavanth, he placed his pylon at the natural, which blocks the expansion, but that gives him some scouting information that his opponent went for a 2 soccer follow-up instead of another 2 additional Adepts. So he can feel safe to not leave his probe at the ramp. He doesn't need to babysit it anymore. He doesn't need to really worry about Adepts. Maybe later on, but at this point, knowing that his opponent opened up or followed up with 2 stalkers, he doesn't need to worry about any Adepts anymore. And Phoenix production has started. Oh, and actually Salavanth going for a second Stargate, and I think he might have scouted the Stargate here by oh yeah, actually he does scout it somehow. Oh, actually no, he did not scout it. Okay, so he just kind of instinctively going for second Stargate. And that is going to definitely bode well for Salavanth, because Borhu working off of 1 Stargate, and we all know that Phoenix versus Phoenix battle can definitely snowball, but Salavanth's got to be careful. It's 3 versus, actually with the addition of the defender's advantage, he actually has 4 Phoenix versus 2 Phoenix, but actually not doing too bad. 2 Phoenix versus taking out 2 Phoenix, that could have definitely gotten worse for Salavanth. So even though Borhu won that battle, I still say Salavanth is still okay. He's got 2 Stargates still, so as the game goes on, he can definitely catch back up, but he needs to be careful because there's actually 3 Phoenix here, but he has to bring his stalkers here to help defend. Oh, it looks like Salavanth might be trapping these Phoenix here, maybe. Oh, actually not coordinating his Phoenix with the stalkers. And oh, just in time, 1 more Phoenix comes out. And Salavanth suffering a bit of economic damage from those Phoenixes, but again, he's working off of 2 Stargates. So as the game goes on, it could definitely turn scary for Borhu here. And even after scouting the 2 Stargate, Borhu has actually elected not to go for a second Stargate. Instead, he's going to add more and more stalkers here, which might be a good thing, because Salavanth went for only the 2 gateways and no additional Robotech, so he's gonna rely on basically gateway units and just Phoenixes. And stalkers are definitely good against Phoenix, although once Phoenix number get into an optimal amount, I think it starts to snowball and the Phoenix actually kind of starts overpowering the stalkers. Now Borhu going for a transition into a Twilight Cancel here. Might go for Blink or Charge, we shall see. He is adding some more Zealots to his army. But Salavanth, he's gonna go ahead and try to move out here. I'm not sure about this move out. I think it would have been better for him to stay at home and just harass with the Phoenix, because right now he has a 9 advantage, a Phoenix advantage over the 6 of Borhu. All right, will he finish this? Will he go and engage this? Oh man, I think he needs to back up his ground army and just harass with the Phoenix. Oh, actually, Salvan gonna go ahead and after scouting the mass stalkers and the mass ground army, he's gonna go ahead and transition into Robotech, get some immortals out to help defend against that. And meanwhile, Salvan going for some nice probe harass there, getting 7 workers, which is huge. In PvP, worker differences between you and your opponent is actually huge because you're playing the same race, you got the same chrono boost technology, or I guess advantage, so you don't really get advantage compared to, like, let's say a Zerg player or a Terran player. If you're playing PvZ or PvT, you can you know, sometimes chrono boost to make up the worker difference, but in PvP, you know, your opponent does also have chrono boost, so worker advantages seems to be more important in a mirror matchup in general. In the meantime, Borhu actually canceled that dirt base, so he may be actually looking to go for an 2-base all-in here, unless that was just a mistake. Because, you know, as Protoss players, even as Terran players or Zerg players, there are times where every once in the blue moon you accidentally cancel your expansion. And as I said, Salavan gaining more and more advantage with this Phoenix advantage here. And yeah, it looks like Borhu is going for that 2-base all-in. Salavanth getting a dirt actually next to the proxy pylon there, which is pretty hilarious. But Salavanth might actually need to let go of this dirt base. Might sack it. He needs to just defend at home, because if he defends at home, he still has that Phoenix advantage. You can still kill his opponents. Oh no, Borhu's actually mixing in some Dark Templars. There's actually no detection here. Oh no, and that army gets decimated, but there are still Phoenixes still left behind. If he can clean up this without taking too much economic damage, he might be able to recoup this. However, he needs to get that observer out. Does he have an observer? No observer, and all the probes get decimated. Oh no. And there is no answer for these Dark Templars here. He needs to chrono up an observer, not an immortal here. Oh my god, 18 workers going down for Salavanth. Borhu enjoying a 41-18 worker count, and yeah, not looking good. I mean, Salavanth does still have the Phoenix count, but still no answer for these DTs. Finally, an observer comes out and will be able to finally clean this up. Now, at this point, at this moment, Salavanth, only way for him to come back into this game is to go across the map with his Phoenixes, get at least 20 workers killed. But Borhu is probably not going to let Salavanth do that, because he's actually morphing in some Archons here. Going to go for a follow-up attack. Salavanth trying to get a third base, but gets denied here, and oh no, he's gonna have to be careful. Okay, he does get the observer, so that's nice for him. So he can Salavanth can freely fly his observer over and start killing these zealots. But at this point, Borhu is economically so far ahead with so much, about a 32 worker lead with a already third base here. Now the good thing about Phoenix versus Archon is that you can actually fly like away from them and just like kind of ignore them. They don't have blink, so they can't really get on top of your Phoenixes if you micro them correctly. So 9 workers, that's a good start for Salavanth. But he does need to get his third base like right now, because you know his Nexus is about 75% done, so definitely need a third base at this point. But again, he's still trying to recoup his all his lost probes, and still not saturated at his natural. So maybe he just needs to sit back, continue denying the mining of the dirt base, which he looks like he will do here, getting some nice fuel probe damage. This should turn out really well for him. But he's still down 15 workers, which is huge. And this ground army is so strong against what Salavant has. I mean, at this point, if Borhu attacks, just does a counterattack and straight up goes for the natural of Salavant, he might just outright kill him. But Salavant doing a great job kind of delaying the attack by just doing these constant Phoenix harasses. And keeping the army of Borhu back, but he is done. Borhu is going for the killing blow. Oh my god. Does not want to stack up these Phoenixes against these Archons. Now, the one good thing for Salavant is that he does have a good amount of Immortals, which helps against these Archons, but he needs to go back to his shield battery here. And oh no, Salavant will have to GG, and Borhu with a stunner here gets the win for Dark Society Gaming. So well done to him. Ties up the series. And we head to game 3, 1-1. Hey Sal, welcome back.
Cheers.
So you have any kind of reflection on that game?
Yeah, what lost me the game was going across the map with those 3 Phoenixes. See, it's fine to do that normally, because it's 3 versus 3.
Mm-hmm.
But when I stopped to turn back and kill that probe, that let my opponent get up to 4 Phoenixes, and I really shouldn't have gone in, because then that basically let all my Phoenixes die when I retreated, and then I was very far behind. If I hadn't been that far behind, then the transition of my opponent probably wouldn't have worked, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
As it is, I was able to get a lot of damage done once I got the Phoenix advantage, but wasn't enough because I didn't expect the DTs either. It was a well-played match by my opponent.
Yeah,
all in all,
those DTs really changed the game there.
I'm not saying like, oh, if I'd just done this and that, I would have won, because if I hadn't lost those Phoenixes, my opponent probably never would have transitioned in the first place.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The whole reason they did that was because they knew they could afford to, because they were ahead on the Phoenix count, and I would have to catch up.
Yeah. Anyhow, we go for
well played.
Yeah, well played by him. And here we go, and our third map is going to be on Lost and Found, and gonna be a ZVC. Oh no, actually no. Gonna be it'll
be TBA, I think, against
ZBT.
Yeah, everyone on the team is Zerg except Dave, aka Blue, I think his name was, whom I just played. So it'll be TVZ in game 3 and a ZVZ in game 4. And then if there's a game 5, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely be put in for game 5 and get your redemption there, a rematch, maybe.
Possibly.
But anyhow, TBA, he's one of the newer members of Psionic Aftermath, but he actually recently decided to leave the clan, unfortunately. So he's playing as a mercenary for us. Glad to have him, but still unfortunate, bittersweet that he left.
Yeah. I think Landfear or TBA are probably going to be the best choice for the Ace, because it is Dreamcatcher, after all.
Ah, yeah, that's true. So
if I get put in, I'll do my best, but it's not really a great match for PVZ, especially.
Yeah, I mean, those are one of the factors that a team lead captain has to consider when choosing their ace player, to see what map it is and possibly what matchup as well that will best give him the chance to win the 5th and ace game.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I wouldn't want to face a player like TBA or Landfear on Dreamcatcher, speaking as a Protoss, that's for sure.
But anyhow, we have a TVZ here on Lost and Found, and we shall see how this turns out here.
Yeah, TBA is a pretty good player. I actually recently played him in the VSL in a match that went all the way to Game 7, so he's very good.
Yeah, I think he's played in a few Team Leagues and Clan Wars for us, and he's done historically pretty well, so definitely a strong player indeed.
Yeah. Also a champion of our Internal Masters 2 and Under Cup in
Yeah.
the first month. It was open to M2s and under. He won that whole thing.
And here we go.
All right, in the bottom left, representing Psynic Aftermath, looking to avenge his Protoss teammate. It is TBA.
And spawning at the top right, he is the red Zerg player representing Dark Society Gaming, looking to get a 2-1 lead for his team. It is Choborino.
So let's see what TBA has to show for us. It will be another TVZ, and so far, both seem to be opening with that strange barracks in the main type of build that we've seen a couple of times in the GSL lately.
Looks like a regular racked and gas opening. So probably should be Reaper opening, I'm guessing. I mean, this map has really good surface area in the main base, so that Reaper can jump in and out, and as well as go into the natural.
What's so regular about it, Snoopy? He hasn't got the second gas. There's no racks across the map. It's on his side of the map.
What is this? No proxy?
I don't understand this at all.
The blasphemy of TBA.
They just don't understand the modern game. All hail the age of Maru.
I'm wondering how frequently proxy is going to be after the big patch, the patch 5.0.
I don't know if the patch is really going to change that much, except for cyclones. Cyclones are going to be very different. I don't know if they'll be better or worse. I've heard both, and I didn't really play back in 3.7, 3.8 when cyclones were their old form. Did you?
Don't think so.
Yeah, it'll be a learning experience for us both as we learn to deal with the new cyclone and what it's capable of.
Yeah. I'm as a Protoss player so glad about cyclone change, because they are so strong currently. It's almost hard to do any damage against Terran in the early game as Protoss.
Yeah, that is for sure. Terran are definitely the actor in the early game. Aside from a couple of cheeses, there's no way to put pressure on Terran. You've either got to commit all out. Oh no, this Reaper is actually going to go down. You either have to go all out and commit to something,
Yeah.
or it's not going to work. You can't do any like light pressure with a couple of devs or something. I guess you can try and delay the CC, but that's about it. Terran is definitely in the driver's seat for a lot of this matchup.
We have a Overlord Scout by Choborino. Does see 2 racks at the very least. Does not see the third racks, or actually the factory rather. So
Looks like this will be a 2-on-1 type of play.
I think you're right.
Similar to what Landfear did, but a little bit different. Gets a few more Marines and gets a much faster stim. That's the big difference here. But it will also be more committed than the 1 racks sort of move that Landfear did. So a follow-up won't be quite as fast. But stim is a heck of a good upgrade. So I quite like this particular opener.
So far, it looks like both players are macroing up. Choborino getting his third hatch, while TBA just building towards that those Marine to do that 2 medevac timing. And it's going to come down to if Choborino can actually go ahead and defend against this. This is one of those builds where if you do a lot of damage with the Marines, you're kind of far ahead, while if you don't do enough damage, you're far behind.
I don't know if it's super all-in build like that, but yeah, if it does no damage, you are behind, but you can do light damage with this and transition out. I wonder what transition we'll see. One of Maru's favorite transitions out of this is to just move into a 2-base tank push. I wonder if that's what we're going to see out of this.
Yeah, so far...
Tech Lab is coming up, so I think that is what we're going to see. We're going to see a 2-on-1 followed by a tank push. On Lost and Found, this is really good. That spot outside the 3rd base with the rocks is actually really dangerous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Get some tanks there. Very difficult to break into. So I think this is a good build for this. This is actually the exact same way that Maru beat Rogue in Game 5 of a recent match. I think it was actually the GSL round of 8. And yeah, it was heartbreaking for all the Rogue fans, because Rogue looked like he was doing everything right, and then suddenly he just died.
All right, looks like the medevacs are loaded up and they are going across the map.
Yep, Stim will be done by the time they get across. Tanks are now being built, so we are going to see that follow-up, and we'll have to see how it goes. +1 melee is... +1... I'm a Protoss, I keep forgetting this.
Armor.
+1 infantry weapons
okay.
is on the way, because we do melee. Oh, those medivacs... Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. TBA. He's going to lose.
Oh, that was so close.
Now, he can't do any damage with this now, at this point. But if he'd lost those medivacs, that practically would have been the end of the game. But as it is, those medivac health is a resource. The lower it gets, the less damage you can do with these medivacs. So I think TBA is just going to have to back away and accept that he's really not going to get much damage done with this. If he moves forward, he's going to lose at least one of those medivacs, almost certainly. In fact, he's probably... Oh, actually, he doesn't lose one. Not the focus fire, not quite there. He's going to clear out some creep. There are no queens in the vicinity, so he can get some damage done, even with these extremely vulnerable medivacs. But won't do a ton. I don't think unloading there's the right choice. And he does lose about 6 Marines, but overall, could have been a disaster.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
It's still not exactly the damage he was expecting to get.
And now he's actually added 2 more additional racks, so he's going actually for a pretty all-in. He's very committed to it. Wow.
Yeah, with 5 axes, with tanks on the way, with no third CC.
Yeah.
This is pretty all-in at this point, I'd say.
And it's gonna be scary because Chobo Reno actually went for a 4th base while during this time.
Yeah, and he's got up to 63 drones, so that's quite a lot of drones. He's going up to a Hydra Den. So, yeah, if TBA hits this timing well, he could win this. Notice that the tanks are in the medivac to try and surprise the opponent. And he chooses to take this as his position instead of the low ground at the 3rd. An interesting choice from TBA, but I don't know if it's a good one. The whole point of that location at the 3rd base is that they can sort of threaten the hatchery and the workers themselves, forcing Choborino to attack. But with a position like this, Choborino is by no means forced to attack. He can simply wait, but he chooses not to. He chooses to go in. Some good tank hits on those Banelings, but he needs to retreat back to his tanks. He needs to retreat right now. Oh, that's a lot of Zerg coming here. He needs to focus fire those Banes, but he's not quite able to do it. He's going to lose pretty much everything here, and Choborino getting a good surround on this. And this does not look good for TBA at this point.
Yeah, I mean, not doing absolutely no damage with that, as well as... Oh no, he's even trying to transition to a command center here. Oh.
Yeah, he's doing his best, but there's already a 4th up for Choborino. Terran is extremely unforgiving. That initial lack of control with the medivac that caused the 2-on-1 to get very little damage done meant that Choborino was able to get up a massive force for the follow-up attack. It really does need to be a 1-2 punch from the Terran. You need to hold back the Zerg enough that the follow-up push is enough to kill them, and the positioning of the tanks needs to be really, really careful. And as it is, he was fighting for a bit away from his tanks. In the end, it's a very difficult build to pull off, and it looks like TBA is going to try for it again. He's going to have combat shields and 1-1 this time, so his Marines are going to be a lot more durable against those Zerglings, though it won't save them from Banelings if they connect. We'll see if he can get anything done. Choborino's gone up to 80 workers, actually. He's definitely assumed this is going to be a very longer game. He's even taking a 5th base, so this could be TBA's chance to blindside him. The creep is good, but a lot of this is going to get taken up in that. But that is so many Banelings. But if the Banelings are clumped up, if he focus fires them, that could be really good. But he chooses to back away. TBA is just going to move forward, kill more creep, retreat to his tanks if the Banelings try and move in. It's a good formula, but he needs to start leapfrogging those tanks forward. And he's going to bring them again to the edge of the creep and continue to move forward. The army supply is massively in favor of TBA, but the economy is massively in favor of Choborino. TBA needs to win this game now or not at all.
This is the timing window too.
For these tanks.
Centrifugal hooks.
Look at that position. Yeah, you're right. Baneling speed not yet done.
Oh wow,
this is so close. Choborino is looking for either a flank or a counterattack. Oh, actually no, he's trying to stop this drop over here. But that's not the real threat. Oh, a lot of these Banelings get wasted on.
Oh wow.
None of them connect. TBA is pushing forward. He's going to take out this 4th base.
Is he going to do this?
TBA has done it. Has Choborino gotten a bit too greedy with this?
Oh, the Banelings get focus fired on.
The tanks, they're still alive. Two of the tanks still live. The fourth base goes down. TBA takes the advantage in overall supply.
Oh my god,
He
he
needs to run away from these Banes, though. He gets them. Oh, and he's going to go after this fifth base now. TBA is managing to claw back into a game that looked lost, and it just goes to show how unforgiving StarCraft 2 is. You think you've won the game, but you make one little mistake, you drone up a little too hard, and suddenly, boom. TVZ is one of my least favorite matchups to play, one of my favorites to watch because of stuff like this, and
Yeah.
GG, TBA brings it 2-1 up.
GG.
The theme of that game was small mistakes. Both sides just making these little errors that totally changed the game. Look at the worker count, 97 created to 47 from TBA. TBA never went past a 2-base economy.
Jesus.
But it was enough.
Definitely enough. Yeah, resource collection rate, Chobarino just way ahead.
Yeah, but you can't spend resources if you're dead.
Yeah. Good lesson there. Alright, so Psionic Aftermath. Up 2-1, just one game away from the win. Dark Society Gaming looking to tie up and send it to the ace match. And the next...
Chobarino just forgot Bane speed.
Yeah.
Lost.
That was
He did
huge.
have Bane speed on the way, so I don't know if that was the entire problem, but then again, with Bane speed, considering the huge lead he got, he might have won anyway, despite the huge economy like he committed to. The Baneling speed definitely made a big difference, or the lack thereof.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he kind of was going for that surround, but with the lack of Baneling speed, he couldn't really clean up the army as well. I mean, his creep spread was really nice, so it would have been really nice to have the Baneling speed there as well.
Yeah. So our next match will be Sunlily against Echo, it looks like. A ZVZ on Parasite, I believe.
Yep, Parasite.
And then, if Echo wins, we'll go to the ace match. If Sunlily wins, that will be the end, and PsiX will have won. So PsiX is on match point right now.
So basically, Sunlily has been one of our longer members of the clan. Has played in countless team leagues as well as tournaments, and events, clan wars. So a very experienced player. Again, I don't know the players of Dark Society Gaming, so I don't really have any reflection or commentary on the player Echo. But I guess we shall see in this next game.
Experience does make a big difference, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you played in. You have a lot of experience, so you can say.
Yeah, that's right. When I started, I was absolutely devastated at any loss. I would be down for hours, but now, after a loss, I can just discuss it with you and where I went wrong, and what I could do better next time, and just head right back into casting. In any case, it is definitely for the best for Sunlily that she's not playing for match point. That's going to be a big sort of morale and nerves boost.
Yeah, it will
anti-nerve boost, I guess.
definitely decrease the stress level.
Yeah, playing for match point is never a position you like to be in, I don't think. Well, some people thrive on that pressure. I don't. I don't think. Well, I sort of do and I don't. It affects me a great deal, but I tend to play decently well in those situations, so it's nerve-wracking, but I often end up doing well. The intensity just rises. I'm just focused on everything.
Yeah.
But we'll see if Echo does that. Echo suddenly does have the advantage on paper in terms of her MMR, but especially in the ZVZ, anything can happen. You never know. After all, Dave was a diamond. He beat me.
So
It can definitely happen the other way.
Yeah, anything can happen here. It's a best of one, so.
Yep. In the bottom right, representing Psionic Aftermath, looking to win this or win it all on match point, it is Psionic Aftermath Sunlily.
And spawning at the top left, we have our red Zerg player from Dark Society Gaming, looking to tie it up and send it to the ace match. It is Echo.
You ever think that this purple for Zerg might be cheating? mean, look at that. How can you even see those drones on the creep? That should be like a 50% miss chance right there.
Yeah. Maybe it's
The drones don't even need burrow; they just sort of stop moving,
Maybe-
and the Zergling's like, "Where'd they go?
I know, right? It's
What
like
happened?"
it's like all in Sun Lily's plan.
Exactly. It's a great plan. Sunlily already with the advantage. But we have a very fast hatchery from Sunlily. So what this means, and a very fast pull. So what this means, I think, is a Ling Flood, a Speedling all-in from Sunlily, a very fast, decisive move to try and win this game outright.
Yeah, and you see in many ZVZs, there's that Ling Baneling war, and sometimes the battle just comes down to micro there. So
Yeah, I don't think Sunlily is even going to go for Banelings
yeah,
with a build like this. I think she's just going to get 100 gas for speed, and then slam a bunch of Speedlings across the map before Banelings come out, ideally, from Echo. I've seen this before.
oh,
Faced
interesting.
this before.
Interesting enough, Sun
What are
Lily
you-
hasn't got gas yet though. Is this normal?
Wait. No, it's not normal at all. What is this? You're right, she's got no gas.
Maybe she's
So,
gonna
I
go
don't know
stick with
what this
roaches.
I guess she will. I guess she is. I guess the earlier hatch is so that she can wall off faster, because the faster you get that hatch out, the further the creep goes. But I can't really say for sure. And Suddenly definitely needs to get a few of those drones across to that natural as well. She's oversaturated at that natural base.
It's gonna be hard to actually go ahead into roaches from on this map because just the natural ramp is just like huge, so it's much difficult to wall off. So I'm not sure why roaches would be the choice for Sunlily here.
Distance. It's a very long map. Very long for the links to get across. So that's an edge in favor of the more defensive style. So I think the two kind of even out in the end. Two gases now coming out of Sunlily. This is a very I'm gonna say greedy build from Sunlily. The wall off with the Roach Warren isn't particularly greedy. It happens a lot, but the no gas style is definitely not something you see every day. And that's a very neat wall off, including a spine crawler from Sunlily.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, even though Sunlily, you say Sunlily going for a greedy opening, I think it actually might work out just because Echo, he's going for a greedy build too. He's going for that fast third base.
Oh, it's definitely paying off. Echo's not going for any sort of aggressive build. If Echo was going for, say, the Speedling all-in that I thought Sunlily was going for, Sunlily would have just been straight up dead.
Yeah.
But on a map like Parasite, Sunlily has decided to take that chance and go without gas for a little bit and skip Zergling speed altogether,
Yeah.
saving a little bit of money there.
Thank you, Nemesis, for that 4-leaf clover bits. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nim. Gotta
Alright.
support your friend Sunlily.
And by the way, just shout out to Sunlily and Nemesis, two female StarCraft players, especially Sunlily, who's a mom herself. So not only is she raising kids, but she's kicking kids' ass in ladder, which is pretty badass.
I've got a nephew, and whenever he's around, I can't play StarCraft at all. He's only like 18 months, so pretty much everything stops when he's around. I'm glad I'm not his father.
I am your
And
father.
I'd never get a moment to myself. I'm happy to just be the fun uncle. I get him a few hours a week. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So both sides now going into roaches, but Sunlily has a pretty decisive worker advantage because of the gas that she skipped. I think she might also have a bit of a macro lead as well. I'll actually know that's that third hatch from Echo. That's also why there's less workers for Echo, because that third hatch is going to pay off. Sunlily will need to take a third pretty soon, and she is taking it right now. As we learnt in that, remember that 6-hour or something qualifier, which was about 90% ZVZ?
Oh, yeah.
The Taco Cup qualifier. We
Oh,
learned
man.
so much about ZVZ there because we got to see all the little deviations happen
I know,
from all
right?
these top players.
That-
And I've actually gotten way better at casting ZVZ since then because I just learnt so much from that.
Yeah, that was definitely a crazy event. That
One
was
thing we learnt is that... go on.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, one thing we learnt is that if you take your third hatch early, you sacrifice workers to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's one of those things where, you're gonna be a bit behind in workers early game, but then as the game goes on, you catch back up very quickly, kind of like Chrono Boost.
Yeah, which is exactly what Echo has now done. What were you going to say before?
Oh, I said that was probably the longest event I've ever casted. That that 5-6
Yeah.
hour one.
I wouldn't want to do it again.
Same here.
Okay, so Sunlily's third base is now finishing up. Both sides have a pretty decent gas count. Burrow is on the way for Echo now. And we have +1/+1 finishing for Sunlily, while just +1 on the way for Echo. So Sunlily will have the upgrade advantage. Roach speed done a little bit faster, but that's not really going to make a difference, because if Sunlily was going to make a difference with that, she would need to be across the map right now, which she's not. She's going to catch up in the drone count. She's continuing her double upgrades. So I think she's going to want to hit a 2-2 timing, which could be very powerful, but she definitely needs to catch up in that drone count pretty quickly. She is up to 56 now, which is nice, and taking those extra gases, but she will want to get up to that 65 or so count herself pretty soon.
Yeah. I like how like the whole map is spread with like just overlords for both players, so they can have all the map vision, see when there's a move out, and can prepare.
Yep, and Sunlily is probably going to get that 4 Ravager hit squad pretty soon. 4 Ravagers is what it takes to one-shot an Overlord with Corrosive Vials. So generally you see players in ZVZ make 4 Ravagers at about this stage of the game and go around trying to kill as many Overlords as they can and take away that map vision. Although there's actually no Overlords in the path to this 4th base, so Echo's probably just going to get a free cancel on this.
Oh, that would be nice.
Sunlily's going to get a free cancel on this. She can just get this, yep, and just get away. Boom, even this drone goes down, but now she should back away. Yep, good move. Now, Sunlily probably going to want to take a third of her own pretty soon. She is behind in workers, but the economy is not terrible. But it does mean she has less gas, which is probably the key thing. She's sticking on 5 gas. Echo has 6, so Echo's probably going to want to tech up pretty soon. It's also worth noting Echo does nearly have Tunneling Claws, so Echo's probably going to try and get some harassment done with that. As Cyril has shown, Tunneling Claws is a very powerful harassment tool in ZVZ.
Yeah. Now, there's one interesting thing to note is that Echo actually is working off of just one evolution chamber. So, as the game goes on, Sunlily is going to be way ahead in upgrades.
Carapace, not as important as missile attacks, but is still definitely a useful thing to have. Probably 2 Carapace is probably worth about 1 missile upgrade, but still 1 missile upgrade advantage is pretty big.
Yeah, actually, I think Sunlily might just go for an attack like really soon, because her plus 2-2 is about to be done.
2-2 timing, and she has only 56 drones. She's got no third base, so I think she's just going to go for it.
Yeah, she's making exactly, oh my god, 10 roaches onto production. Yeah, she's definitely going for a move out like right now, almost maybe.
And that Overseer actually saw all of these burrowed roaches, so if she can catch those, that's a huge, big advantage for Sunlily, because that's suddenly like a dozen roaches that don't get to fight at all. Spire on the way for Echo, though. Echo's going to go into a huge muta transition, so if Sunlily is going to attack, it needs to be very, very soon. But Overseers all around for Sunlily. She is going to be able to defend this pretty easily, take out a lot of roaches, definitely restricting Echo's ability to fight. So I think Sunlily wants to move across the map right now. But there's more and more roaches coming in. Echo is just using these as essentially sacrifices to try and slow Sunlily down while Echo creates these mutas. And I think it might just work. There's going to be a lot of mutas done. But if Sunlily can decisively win a fight on the ground, it's also worth noting the mutas are going to have no upgrades and the roaches are going to have +2 armor.
Oh, wow.
You know how slowly mutas kill roaches with no armor? Imagine it with +2 armor.
Yeah, it's like...
Mutas practically heal roaches with +2 armor. And here we go, the roaches are swarming in. There's only a few Ravagers on each side. Sunlily actually doesn't have her entire army with this. So Echo is going to force Sunlily back for the time being. Sunlily going to regroup. And 7 Mutalisks on the way. No supply for more.
Oh my god, Sunlily's going for a double prong attack, pulling these roaches off of out of position here.
I think this 4th base, or the natural, whichever attack Sunlily chooses is going to go down. Good concave. Actually, a lot of these roaches aren't fighting, they're on hold position. Sunlily needs to correct that pretty quickly, or this is going to be really bad for Sunlily. Look at all those roaches that are not fighting at all. And Echo is going to win on this front, but but that natural is probably going to go down even with these mutas. Look at how slowly those mutas are killing these roaches. It's taking forever. It's practically like the mutas are not even fighting at all. More Ravagers on the way, but the real threat is this roach attack from Echo. But Echo forces it back. Suddenly forces it back with Corrosive Vials, and suddenly Sunlily looks in a good position. All of these mutas are finally starting to take their toll, because you need so many mutas to fight these +2 roaches. But that means that Sunlily can switch into Hydralisks. She's got the time. She is going for Tunneling Claws. She's building 14 Hydras now. She's already got the Hydra Den done. and 21 drones have gone down on the other side of the map. But in the meantime, there's a fight going on as well outside of the third base of Sunlily. Both sides fighting. It looks pretty even, but the roaches are starting to die out for Sunlily, which means those Ravagers will be exposed. Can Sunlily do it? Not quite. She's going to back away, but even so, I think Sunlily has the edge now.
Yeah,
these mutas are coming down, but will there be enough Hydras, and will they be able to collect themselves in time? That is the real question. Here come the Hydralisks, but they need to be together, and they're going to start fighting. But these mutas, there's so many of them, but they do have to back away. Oh, Sunlily gets them just in time, but those mutas are not done. They're going to go towards the main. There's only one Spore and one Queen. That's not going to be enough to fend off this many mutas. Not by a long shot. These Hydras are coming in one at a time. That's not what you want. The Muta's forced to go away. And Hydra Den is potentially going to get sniped. It is. Oh, yes, it is. Sunlily definitely needs to remake that Hydra Den, but does have 12 more Hydras on the way created before the Hydra Den went down. So even so, Sunlily is still in a good position. She's ahead economically, but she's still only on 3 bases. And the natural is being rebuilt for Echo. So Sunlily needs to get a 4th base, but can't do that until she's able to get enough Hydralisks to fend off these Mutas, and she really needs Hydra speed, which was cut down by Echo.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Sunlily going for this counterattack with a few Roaches and Ravagers, and Muta's trying to come back. I think this...
Even the Tunneling Claws splitting this up.
Yeah, nice.
Come on,
good
burrow.
Nice.
But
that was nice.
A few Corrosive Balls could have taken out this hatchery, I feel. But
yeah,
the Mutas are standing around these Ravagers, waiting for an Overseer, but here come the Tunneling Claws Roaches, doing more and more damage to this main. Hydralisks coming across the map to fight these Mutalisks head on.
Oh my god, Sunlily is everywhere.
I can't keep up. The Ravagers and Hydras are fighting the Mutalisks. This is going to be the fight that really matters. And here it comes. And these Hydralisks are doing a lot of damage. But actually, I think the Mutas are just going to win this fight.
Oh, but taking down a lot of Mutas.
Yeah, but that 4th base is down. And like, as you said, a lot of the Mutas are dead. And GG! Sunlily takes the series.
Wow.
For Psionic Aftermath.
What a ZVZ here.
Excellent performance by Sunlily.
Yeah, and she secures the win for PsiX Kohai. So PsiX Kohai, congrats to them for winning for 3-1. I think, right? Yeah, that's the score, 3-1.
Yep.
So well done there.
And we shall move on to PsiX. We'll move on to the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
Was this the semifinals or quarterfinals? I think it was the semis, right?
This is the quarterfinals, so we're moving on to the semis.
Yeah.
So
who are the other potential semifinalists?
Yeah, basically it is... Oh wait, actually we have a subscription by Shadow Zarek. Thank you for the subscription.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think I forgot. I didn't mention the follow. I missed the follow throughout that game. So sorry if I missed it, but thank you for the follow as well. So basically, we have we're moving on to the semifinals. It will be the winner of All Inspiration or Death Zone Slice. So that's the that's the team. Those are the teams that will be potentially match up in the semifinals. Oh. And,
should be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. 3 cheers from Zarek. Thank you. Says GG. Yep, definitely for sure. Well played by all our players. And hopefully we do well in the semifinals. All right. I guess we should wrap this up. Any last words before we call home?
Thanks very much for watching, everyone. We've got plenty of events like this, especially including next week, where we will be playing the semi-finals of the ATL America's Amateur League. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the subscriptions, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, one last chat read here. Zarek says, "I said if Sunlily won, I'd sub." Just got a message saying she won. All right, nice. So Sunlily earning PsiX a sub. Nice. All right. Hope you have a good rest of the morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. And we'll see you guys next time. This is your friendly neighborhood Puppy Dog signing out. All right. Going to the pre-roll video. Nice one there. Alright. Yep, we're good to go. Alright, you plan to play in the semifinals?
Yeah, probably. If I end up invited to it.
Yeah.
Depends on when exactly the time is, but if it's on at about this time of day, I can definitely play.
Nice.
Should be fun.
For sure.
I just have to not make that little mistake next time. I'm still very new to the Stargate style.
Yeah.
I've been winning a lot of games with it because it's quite powerful, but some of the subtleties are still lost on me. Like, I really shouldn't have sent those 3 Phoenixes across the map after I'd sniped the probe. Should have just... I wanted to confirm that it was Phoenixes, but it basically always is with the depths first. Yeah. If I just built that really fast second Stargate and kept building Phoenixes, I would have been in a great position.
Alright, I think I'm gonna head off and catch some dinner here. I haven't ate yet, so.
Fair enough. And I'm gonna go a bit of food myself before D&D, and then after D&D, catch up on BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah. Alright, I'll catch you next time, alright?
Yep, talk to you later.
Have a good one.
You too.